Alrighty then, here is our week 5 slides. I've already had several questions. I was hoping that IXL was going to help prepare you for these slides, but I think some of you are doing the slides first, and that's absolutely fine. In this particular slide, you're going to be using midpoint. So if you're having any trouble with midpoint, you might want to go back to week 2. We did midpoint and length of a segment back in week 2, and so you may want to head back there to refresh yourselves on how to find midpoint. Alright, so on this one, that's not moving. I have some kind of bug that does crazy stuff to my computer, and I just have to wait until it stops doing it. Alright, this is about reflection, and reflection, as you know, is one of our transformations. And you have only one vocabulary word this week, just one. Define the line of reflection. It's also sometimes called the line of symmetry. I usually refer to it as line of symmetry myself, but your textbook calls it line of reflection, so that's why I put that. All right, to find the line of reflection, draw alignment from a pre-image point to its image point, or from the A to the A prime. Okay, so if you have a triangle and it's labeled ABC, and you have its image, which is triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, you would draw a line from the A in the first triangle to the A prime in the second triangle, and that's what that's talking about. And then once you've drawn those lines, A to A prime, B to B prime, C to C prime, then you find the midpoint of all of those lines you just drew in. You do that for all the points. I said A, B, and C. It could be a square, and so it would have A, B, C, and D, or it could be labeled X, Y, Z, or whatever, but you just go from the pre-image to the image on every point, every vertex, and find the midpoints. Okay, and so this is what I'm talking about. Here's triangle A, B, C, and here is its reflection. A, B, C, A prime, B prime, C prime, I should say, over here. So here's the pre-image, here's the image. Okay, so we drew in a line from A to A prime, and then found the midpoint. So A is at -3, 5. So they put in -3 for the x value of the first point, and then -5 is the x value of the second point. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so that's where this one is at -5. So -3 is the x value up here, and -5 is the x value right here. And so you add the two x values together and divide by 2. Then the y values. This A is at -3, 1, 2, -3, 3. I think I said -3, 5 a minute ago. I don't know where I got that. I'm sorry. Probably I was thinking about the -5 that was coming up on the next x value. But now we're looking at y's. So we have the y value is 3 here. The y value on this one is -1. So we say 3 plus -1 divided by 2. And remember, that's how you find the midpoint. And like I said, you might have to go back to slideshow 2 and refresh yourself on how to do these. But it's just find the xy, add the x's and divide by 2, add the y's and divide by 2. So that's what they did. They added -3 plus -5 is -8 divided by 2 gives you -4. 3 plus -1 is 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So there's the midpoint for A to A. Then the midpoint from B to B prime. B is at 2, 3, and B prime is at -2, -5. So plugging in, this one is 2, and this one is -2. So 2 plus -2. And then for the y values, this one is 3, this one is -5. So 3 plus -5. Add those up and divide by 2. 2 plus -2 is 0. 0 divided by 2 is 0. And then 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And then finally, you're going to do the c, and the c prime the same way. C is at 5, negative 1. And so 5 goes with the x, negative 1 goes with the y. C prime is at 3, negative 5. So 3 is the x value, negative 5 is the y value. Add the x's. 5 plus 3 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. Negative 1 plus negative 5 is negative 6, divided by 2 is negative 3. So there, we went through every single one of those. So next is a you try slide where you do it. So you're going to do the exact same thing. Exactly the same thing. Exactly. You hear me when I say exactly? Okay. You're going to go find the A. You're going to find the A prime. You're going to put in the x values from both points, A and A prime, the y values from both points, A and A prime, and then calculate the midpoint. Do that on all three of those. When you get done, and I should have said that back here, when you get done finding all three midpoints, you want to plot them. You found all three, now plot all three. There's one, and there's one. And then draw a line. And that's your line of reflection. That's the line that your image is reflecting across to get to your pre-image. Your pre-image is getting to your image. So, same thing. Once you find these three midpoints, then you're going to plot the 3 points and draw a line, and that's going to be your line of reflection. Okay, here's your rules for reflections. This was in your cheat sheet from week 3. If you haven't printed that off or if you haven't copied it down, you need to. You definitely need to, because we'll be having a test next week and you're going to want that cheat sheet. All right. Then on this one, it says reflect the figure with the given vertices across the given line. So they start out and they say, okay, plot these. This is MNP. So we come over here and do MNP. That's our pre-image. And we're going to reflect this across the y-axis. The y-axis is the one that goes up and down. Well, the first thing I need to do, and I wrote that in here for you, notice the first thing they did was write the rule from the cheat sheet. So you're going to go to your cheat sheet back here and you're going to say, okay, reflecting across the y-axis takes the xy to negative xy. So M is 1, 2, and since the rule was to go to negative xy, then that's 1 is going to become negative and 2 is going to stay the same. So 1, 2 maps to negative 1, 2. N is at 1, 4, so it maps to negative 1, 4. P is at 3, 3, so it maps to negative 3, 3. So then just go back and graph all of these, and you have a reflection across the y-axis. So this is the pre-image, the one that you started with, that you were given, and this is the image that you found by reflecting across the y-axis, and you did that by using the rule. Okay, it says predict the quadrant in which the image will lie. Well, if you're here and you're reflecting across the y-axis, you know it's going to be over here. And the quadrants are 1, this one is 1, 2, 3, and 4. They start where everything's positive on the x-axis, positive on the y-axis. That's 1, and then they go around counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. And it says graph the image. We already talked about that. Just after you found all the points, you graph it. All right, now here's one for you to do. This time you have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So this is going to be a rectangle or a square. And, well, no, it doesn't have to be. It could be any quadrilateral. And then it says that you're reflecting across y equals x. You're reflecting across y equals x. So go back. And reflection across the line y equals x is xy maps to yx. So they're just going to reverse. If this is 1, 2, then this one's 2, 1. They just reverse. And I'm stuck again. Nice. Okay. So you're starting with 2, 0. So they would just flip and be 0, 2. 2, 0 maps to 0, 2. Okay. All right. Oh, and the line y equals x is a diagonal line that goes through the origin right here. It just means that whatever y is, x is the same thing. So if this was 1, this was 1. So when x is 1, y is 1, that's here. If x is 2, y is 2, that's here. If x is -1, y is -1, that's here. So that forms a diagonal line right here. That's what the line y equals x is. Okay, another problem for you to do is reflect the figure with the given vertices across the given line. So it says go back to slide 9 and 10. That's where we just came from, these two, and do this problem. So it doesn't give you all the setup. It doesn't give you step by step. You have to do step by step. This is the problem, but this is how you work it. Do all of these steps. Okay, and then this one, draw the line of reflection and go back to slides 5 and 7. So again, this is the problem. You need to draw in the line of reflection, but in order to find the line of reflection, go back to slides 5, where it shows you exactly how to do that, and 7, where you did it again yourself, and that will help you with that problem. This one. Now I will point out that C and C prime are at the same point, so the midpoint is going to be just the point. It's not going to have another point. So you're going to have A to A prime, you're going to find that midpoint. B to B prime, you're going to find that midpoint. And then when you connect those two, they should pass right through C and C prime. Okay, and you will have a test next week on everything we have covered in weeks 3, 4, and 5. And so go back over your slides from those 3 weeks, that's including this week, and you will have a test on that next week. Now, we have a meeting on Tuesday. What's the date tomorrow? Tuesday, September 29th at 1:30. Tuesday, September 29th at 1:30. We will have a Google Meet where you can ask questions on this week or any other week and prepare for the test that's coming up next week. Also, you can always schedule times if you need to meet with me one-on-one. Okay, I started to say, does anybody have any questions? But there's nobody here. I'm talking to myself. All right, well, that's it for this video. And if you need anything, be sure to email me, text me, or how you want to get a hold of me. And I will do my best to get back with you just as soon as I can. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon.